Namaskaram everyone. My name is Vasundhara Talware. I'm a yoga lifestyle expert and a transformation coach. Let's talk about our favorite topic in the whole world, food. Most people want to die over food. Most people live to eat food. But do you know what are the two basic reasons why one eats? One is to nourish oneself, and two is for pleasure, and that's fine. One is for nutrition, and two is to titillate your taste buds. That's fine. The problem arises when the graph is skewed towards pleasure, towards titillation of your taste buds, than it is towards nourishing you, towards self-care, towards providing yourselves the appropriate nourishment, nutrition to function to your optimum best in the world out there. That's when the problem arises. That's where you see all the diseases, all ailments coming into picture, because your body has not got what it needed. So let's be more mindful when it comes to feeding yourselves. Now there are three types. How many types? Three types of food. One is the sattvic food, the yogic food, that is, it's known as. Two is the rajasic food. And number three is the tamasic food. Now let's look at what sattvic food means. Sattvic food is something that is fresh. It's seasonal. It's locally available. And not just the produce that is fresh, seasonal and locally produced, but the way it's cooked is also fresh. It's not something that's stale, kept overnight, not something that was cooked in the morning that's consumed in the evening. That also doesn't fall under the sattvic category. Also, foods that are imported from outside and consumed over here over a year, that also does not fall under the sattvic category. I know many people, for example, store amlas, which when not available are consumed, imagining that they will end up getting the nutrition that they think amla will give them when it's not in season. But it doesn't function like that. There are food items that are locally available that will give you the nourishment that you're looking for. You just have to look closely and identify what these food items are. They have to be locally available. They have to be seasonal. If you're also maybe growing avocado and ignoring having mangoes which are local, which are produced here and are seasonal of course, and end up having avocados over a period of time, it's not going to give you that kind of nourishment that a locally produced food is going to. Also, if your sattvic food that's cooked by someone who is non-sattvic also ends up making your food non-sattvic. So you have to be very mindful of what emotions you have when you are cooking your food. If you are not cooking your food, then who else is? And what bhavas, what mindset does he or she cook your food in? Is that person agitated? Is that person calm and composed? Is he or she at peace? Is he or she happy while cooking your food? That's going to go in your stomach and nourish you. If that person is not, if the person is grudgingly cooking the food, doing his or her duties, then that sattvic food ingredient turns into a tamasic food for you. That's how the food changes its form. Even though it was fresh, even though it was seasonal, even though it was local, still the bhavas, the emotions that go into making your food make a huge difference. Therefore, choose where you eat, who you eat with, whose place you eat at, and who is cooking for you if it's your own place. Wisely and choose to nourish your body accordingly. After all, your body is your only vehicle. This is the divine vehicle that you have. and give it its best due. It's working around the clock for you. This is the least you can do for it. Not have stale food, not have overnight stored food. I know so many people who, especially in foreign countries, do that. Cook food for a week and consume it over a week, and that's not good at all. That's all tamasic food. Tamasic food. So we'll look at tamasic food after we've looked at rajasic food. What's rajasic food? Food that gives you instant high. It stimulates your mind. It stimulates your body. That's rajasic food. People who are highly active. Rajas means being creative. So being passionate. That's rajas. So anything that requires you to be using your high energies, maybe on a battlefield, for example, or maybe staying up all night and doing XYZ work, your submissions, your projects and stuff like that. So that requires some bit of rajas aspect in it. But too much of rajas is also not good, because these foods, example, tea, coffee, chilies, too much spice, salty, sweet, all fall under the rajas category. And despite it fulfilling its duties, that is to stimulate your mind and body, it leaves an after effect. And that after effect is that it leaves you irritated and dissatisfied at the end. So it's not really worth having rajas food on a regular basis. If there's a purpose, then so be it. If not, then stick to sattvic. That gives you immense energy, gives you lots of clarity and lots of single pointed focus in whatever that you're doing. And I'm often asked this question, how do I get my energy from? How am I energetic throughout the day? I don't get tired at all, and that's because my food source is, I would say, 90% in its best form. It's sattvic, all out. I do not entertain rajasic. I definitely don't entertain tamasic. Let's look at tamasic food items, or the qualities of tamasic food. Tamasic food is something that's not natural. For example, it's packaged food, which is lots of preservatives, so it's definitely not fresh. It's overcooked food, that becomes tamasic. Food that's not cooked with the right emotions, that becomes tamasic. Food that is oily, pungent, that becomes tamasic. Food that is not plant-based, so if it's non-vegetarian food, that is tamasic food. Anything that goes away from nature, that's bottled, that's packaged, that's frozen, even if you think that, oh, you have cooked something in the morning and it's frozen and kept in the fridge for a while, that turns tamasic too. So these are the qualities of a tamasic food item. And what are its impact? There are no benefits of tamasic food. Like, there were some bit of benefits in rajasic food, but in tamasic there are none. The drawbacks of having, or the impact of having tamasic food, is that it makes you feel lazy. It makes you feel drowsy, sleepy, sluggish, non-active, lack of energy. You feel so dull and dumb all day. So these are the impacts of tamasic food. Now, if imagine a person is already low on energy, already dull and boring in life, has a diet that's heavy on tamasic food. Just imagine what's the impact of that going to be on this character. So such character people should be having more of rajas and definitely more of sattvic. Sattvic is the best food choice, but still there's going to be some high labor intensive work to be done. You may resort to rajas. Not that sattvic people cannot indulge in high intense work. I do myself. I do full day workshops, and they're very energy intense workshops, and I have only sattvic food. Sometimes I do diets only on fruit, so and that's only to keep myself light and active and energetic and punch out all the toxins out of my body once in a while. So it's amazing, amazing effects on the body, on the mind, on the outcomes of whatever you do in your life. So that this bit is a little bit off from what I have been talking about. Most people think that yoga has nothing to do with diet. Of course not. Yoga stands on one of the pillars, which is yamas and niyamas. They're two of the pillars, and food is a very intrinsic part of what you consume. Ahar, what do you consume? Besides food, there are many other things we'll look at as we go further, but food is the basic. It gives out an emotion. Anything you consume, it comes out in a form of a feeling, an emotion, a consequence, a long-term feeling for that matter, and ends up making you do things according to that, according to your feelings, don't they? So thank you for watching. Hope this has helped you in some way understand what food to take, what not to take. And if it has, then please share it with your loved ones. I'll come up with more stuff for you all because I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.